Hey, what's up my fellow League players, this is Headshot Homie, bringing you yet another unusual champions and unusual lanes, this time featuring Rammus top lane. This video will show the full skill set, skill order, masteries, rune pages, item builds and summoner spells that I like to use, plus a commentated gameplay video featuring me playing Rammus top. Rammus top lane is a really good pick versus champions like Riven, Wukong, Zed, Trinimans and Zhao because he can trade with them without taking as much damage himself. But is however a really horrible pick versus champions like Rumble, Teemo and Elise and high sustain laners like Nasus, Cho'Gath and Yorick, because he cannot sustain nor take a lot of magic damage himself, so keep that in mind before picking this recklessly. To start this guide off, I would like to talk a bit about Rammus' skill set and which summoner spells I like to use. Rammus' passive is called Spike Shell and it gives him 1 more attack damage for every 4 armor he gets. Or in other terms, 25% of the armor he gets an attack damage as well. Because of his passive, he works really well with early armor stacking. It's easy to have the same amount of attack damage as your opponent laner without even running attack damage and runes. Plus a lot more armor, so it becomes much easier to trade with your opponent. Rammus' Q ability is called Powerball. He will enter a rolling ball-like state and increase in speed rapidly, but hitting an enemy unit will stop him and he will damage enemies in a small AoE radius. This spell is amazing for engaging in teamfights, engaging the lane upon your enemy and running from enemies in both teamfights and in laning phase. Rammus' W ability is called Defensive Ball Curl. He will gain a massive amount of armor and magic resistance and return damage upon getting hit by a basic attack. This will be a main trading ability in lane because you will have the advantage in both attack damage and defensive stats. Plus you will have a built-in Thornmail against champions who really rely on auto attacks. Rammus' E ability is called Puncturing Taunt. He will taunt an enemy and reduce his armor by quite a large amount. The taunt works well together with defensive ball curl to force an enemy to attack you while you're returning damage. Also, it works extremely well together with your jungler when you can lock an enemy in place so they can land their CC or spells. Rammus' R ability is called Tremors. It will create an earthquake-like effect beneath him and it will damage every enemy unit and structure in range. You can use all spells and move around while this spell is in effect. This ability will do most of your damage against enemies and enemy structures while pushing. So it's important to stay in range for the spell to deal its maximum damage, which actually is an incredible amount, only increased even more by magic penetration and ability power. The summoner spells I like to use will always include Flash. First is to secure more kills in laning phase using Flash and Ignite, second is to engage harder in teamfights by using Ghost and Flash, and third is to make me able to split push and help out bot lane throughout laning phase by using Flash and Teleport. The skill order for these spells will be leveling Defensive Ball Curl first at level 1, 4, 5, 7 and 9, and then Puncture and Taunt at level 2, 8, 10, 12 and 13. Tremors will be leveled when possible at level 6, 11 and 16 like most ultimates will, and last the Powerball at level 3, 14, 15, 17 and 18. The reasoning behind this is because Defensive Ball Curl will be most of your damage and damage reduction in lane, and Puncturing Taunt will force enemies to hit you for a longer period of time, making you able to hit most of your damage from Tremors and Defensive Ball Curl's damage return. Powerball comes last because leveling it up gives nothing compared to the other spells. I thought to myself that it wasn't needed to explain the best combo used for Rammus, but I did a short one anyways. Best combo that works both in laning phase and in teamfight is to Q into an enemy, then using your E and then instantly activating R and W to do the most damage as possible. Now for the runes I like to use for Rammus. There's actually only one rune page I use for Rammus because there's no need for a second page. Because Rammus is only a viable pick versus a small collection of champions, so I designed this rune page to be able to trade well with these opponents in lane. It uses hybrid penetration marks, armor seals, magic penetration glyphs, and 2 armor quints and 1 hybrid penetration quint. The reason behind hybrid penetration is because it does a lot of physical damage as well as magic damage early game. So this will increase its damage more than simply armor or magic penetration only. The masteries I use will always be 9210, but I use 2 different. The first one focuses damage reduction and pushing, getting all the damage reduction possible and all the health possible, and the minion damage return to help clean minion waves faster. The second one I use is more sustain oriented, but still gets all the champion damage reduction and all the health. Both pages uses the cooldown reduction, ability power up a level, and magic penetration from the offensive tree. The first page is to reduce minion damage and increase pushing in lane, while the second one is to sustain more in lane, focusing more on gold. Just right before we head into the gameplay footage, I would like to talk a bit about what items I like to use in Rammus. The item build I'm going to show focuses more on dealing damage, but still being tanky enough to stay in fights. I like to start out with either Cloth Armor and 5 health pots for extra trading potential, or Crystalline Flask and 3 health pots for increased sustain. Cloth Armor is recommended versus early all-ins like Revenants and Zhao, and Crystalline Flask is recommended versus lanes that get more intense at later levels. First item I like to go for will be a Sunfire Cape. by getting a giant's belt early and maybe building a Doran's shield if you don't have enough gold for a chain vest. The Doran's shield passive is really great on Rammus because his high armor makes 6 damage reduction a really big deal. Sunfire Cape increases your durability a lot, while also increasing your damage by quite a bit, so it's a great first choice. Second item I like to go for will be a Home Guard enchanted sorcerer's shoes to quickly return to lane and increase your magic penetration. Third item will most likely be Abyssal Scepter to increase tankiness and increase magic damage done to enemies. Also, you'll be in the middle of enemies, so that helps out your teammates a lot as well. Fourth item will be a Sonia's Hourglass, so buying a Seeker's Arm Guard after Abyssal Scepter is mandatory. After Sonia's you will be going for a Haunting Guise to yet again increase your magic penetration. Reason behind Sonia's is to increase the chance of getting a full ultimate off in a teamfight. 2.5 seconds might not sound like a big deal to you, but it is actually quite a big number. Then you can either go for Rylar's Crystal Scepter and then upgrade to Lander's Torment, or go for the Banner of Command instead of either of these items for increased pushing power. Crystal Scepter and Torment stacks really well together with his W's damage return and his ultimate, so it's easier to catch up to people and deal a lot more damage. Now for the gameplay footage, showing me as Rammus top versus a Riven top. This footage is commentated and contains background music that I've put the names of in the description below. Have fun watching. As you can see, I just got in game here. The reason I'm not doing a live recording is because I couldn't really concentrate when I when I was in game while talking. It just made the videos bad, so I chose to do a recording after the video had recorded. As you can see, I started with cloth armor and 5 health pots. I'm facing a Riven top, and she's most likely gonna have a flask to go all in on me, but hopefully I can counter that with a cloth armor. You can see their team is a bit troll, but it makes a fair fight. Right now I'm just waiting for the wolves to spawn to help up Jarvan. As you see, our bot lane is Vayne and Blitzcrank. Not the best combo ever, but they're facing Quinn and Jax. Not the best combo either, but I think it's going to be a fine match. Fine match indeed. We have Master Yi versus Tristana mid lane. The Tristana's ability power can pack quite a punch actually. Always at the start of your game, always help out the jungler as much as you can. It gives some positive energy, so the jungler comes back to you in the lane and ganks. I missed a minion there, but it doesn't hurt me that much. If I'm not wrong, she missed a minion as well. See, I'm just trading here as much as I can. See the damage. With W on, I have as much as AD as she does, and I have a lot more armor. So it's so easy to trade with her. I didn't start a ward because I was pretty sure that I didn't need it to ward against the Fizz. I was pretty confident that I wasn't going to die versus a Fizz. See how Master Yi just died of Fizz mid lane. Fizz and Tristana, I guess it's alright. There wasn't so much you could do about it. Fizz and Tristana can easily negate his heal. And honestly, it's pretty hard to escape from a Fizz. Double jump. Excuse me if I'm being a little quiet here, but this is my first commentary, and I just need experience to do this well. See the fish coming in here. Taunt him and flash to negate a bit of the damage dealt, but I come out of it alive, so they didn't have the damage required to kill me. You can see the Jarvan coming from the bottom side here, and I'll just bait the fish and the Riven into getting just massacred by Jarvan and me. Really, that costed her so much. She's gonna lose all the minions here, and I'm gonna have the double buff when she returns to lane again. As you can see in this video, I didn't level Powerball even at this level. I thought to myself I didn't need it, because we have Jarvan who can easily engage for me to get over and taunt her, or I can easily taunt her so he can engage on her. And I don't need to flee from the fish, really. I can easily survive it. You can see I start with a Giant's Belt here. It's just so good. The health makes me so durable that I can stay in the fight and give all the damage that I need. And it makes Riven harder. It makes it harder for Riven to execute me with her ultimate. It makes me drop slower in percentages, so her ultimate doesn't damage as much. However, I'm not afraid it's even gonna get to that. It's mostly just casual last hitting. Really, if the Riven was smart, she would go lifesteal right after that Thorn's Blade and just focus her shield. There's not much she can do against me at this point of time. The armor I have is just too much for her to handle. With a shield, she can shield as often as she wants, and she can shield away from me whenever I want to taunt her. I just placed a ward there for just safety measures, so it doesn't come a Tristana or Fizz up and catch me off guard. Really, the funny thing about Riven is she really needs to do that all in and give all the damage on those 5 or 6 seconds to actually be effective, but there's no way she can drop me in 5 or 6 seconds, and on those 5 and 6 seconds I can so easily burst her down, because my ultimate deals so much damage. See, I drop her so easily, even without ignite. And yet again she loses minions. It will only hurt her so bad. Here I'm thinking of buying a chain vest, but I'm just gonna go for the double cloth armor for the Seeker's Arm Guard later, and go for the Doran Shield, because the Doran Shield passive is so good with Rammus W. It negates so much damage with the masteries that also negates about 5 champion damage, so that that's 11 in total. So with the amount of armor I have, I would take around 30 damage or so from a basic attack. And how can that not be good? At this point it's so easy for me to bully her because there's just no way she can fight me anymore. That's the good thing about Rammus top. You can, when you get just that little tiny bit ahead, you can just snowball so hard because there's no way your opponent can kill you with the amount of tankiness you get. And with Rammus skill set, you get so much damage for free without even building for the damage. You can see my Jarvan is coming in behind me here. She haven't seen him. We're going in for her. I'm trying to catch her here, but I mistakenly hit the minions there, and I try to get her once more, but the taunt just doesn't last for that long when I haven't leveled it more than 2 times. As you can see on Riven want me to go on her because there's most likely a Tristana coming up from mid lane or something like that. So when champions play aggressive like that, it's so easy to see that there's somebody coming to help her. Here she makes the mistake of going golems. She most likely thought that we were going back and recalled, and she just needed that bit extra gold. But always think twice before you do shit like that. Here I thought the fish might have known that I was there, so I just hesitated with the recall. As you can see in top lane, my Jarvan is pushing for making the Riven lose minions once more. Sadly, our Musty died to Tristana once more. But I'm thinking Tristana AP doesn't. It works quite like LeBlanc actually. It bursts one person and then you're out of burst really, unless you're packed with Deathfire's Grasp and Lichbane or Malady or something. You cannot give sustained damage. Just see that amount of armor and health I have with defensive ball curl on. There's no way that the Riven can kill me. Whenever I play Rammus top, the most common first item I see is a Last Whisper, which actually it's not that bad for me. 35% of my armor is still leaves me with a lot of armor to use, and it helps out my team in team fights. It makes her weaker because she has to use all that gold on a Last Whisper instead of a Bloodthirster, so she doesn't deal that much damage to people who doesn't have that much armor as I do. So it's quite effective. However, if I heard mid like a Teemo or Elise or Jace, I would just have get shit on because Rammus doesn't work well when he can't get in close range with people. He needs that taunt off, he needs that full tremors off to give his maximum potential damage. So whenever you see a pick like that, just don't pick Rammus for top lane. It's a great pick and all, but it's such a situational pick.
Yeah.
Right now I'm just farming, waiting for Riven to return. I'm just gonna leave the tower standing, so she's gonna lose all the minions, and I can just farm here all day long. I get so much gold from this. I get all the minions. There's no need to last hit or anything because there's no minions that takes the damage, and I can just farm the golems and the waves all the time for extra gold. so I can get my Sunfire Cape more quickly. As you can see, Riven is just so much out of the game. And I can't blame her really. Rammus is a really great counter pick to AD casters. I didn't mention earlier that it's quite good against Pantheon and Gangplank as well, because they depend mostly on being melee and bursting as well. But against Jace and ranged autos like AD Nidalee or something like that, I wouldn't recommend it, because there's just you just can't be in range for your taunt and stuff like that. They can just run away. Like I said, it's such a situational pick. Here I missed the taunt, sadly, but I hesitated with taunt on the Riven because I thought the Tristana was coming up, but as I saw that the Tristana was not coming up, I was going for the Fizz again. As you can see, I'm getting him. The Ignite might not have been a requirement to kill the Fizz, but I just wanted to be safe to get that double buff. As you can see, the Tristana doesn't want to get taunted. Yeah, there I flashed to not get ignited or eat by Tristana there, because I knew she would jump over the wall. But all in all, it was a good trade. 1 for 0. Here I get my Sunfire Cape and my Spellpin boots. It works really well. The Sunfire Cape with Rammus Taunt and his W, you give so much dot damage, and with the magic pen from my runes and masteries and from the boots there, I can almost give my spell damage as true damage. Always, whenever you play, always farm the camps as much as you can if the jungler don't need them. The more your team farms them, the more gold you get. There's no reason for the camps to be down. Or, I mean, there's no reason for the camps to be up whenever your jungler is like bot or helping out anywhere else. If your top lane's pushing, you can get your enemy golems and your own wolves and wait for your lane to get back, or you can gank another lane. But this game I didn't get teleport, so I'm not so fond of going bot, because the moment I can go bot, the enemies can be gone as well, so I might as well just push top. The reason behind not hardcore pushing this game is to get as many minions as possible without getting noticed from the enemy team, because there's a quite big chance of getting an enemy member of their team up top lane when you destroy an enemy tower. As you can see, I'm just going for the tower here. Always never brain deadly push as I'm doing here without wards. I'm doing it because I can see 5 people on the map, or at least I could before. They're most likely going Drake. As you can see, I thought about going for the last turret there, but I didn't quite do it because I knew that 3 people were missing. So I might have a lot of tankiness, but even I can't survive that shit. Like, shoots are being a bit boring or dull or whatever. This is my first commentary, and And I have the bit boring and dull voice on. Here I'm looking for the people that's going down for the Drake. I could see that Jax was going down for it. And they most got, as I can see, Jax and Fizz going for the blue. They're most likely that blue now. I just see that Fizz drop. Taunt the Jax in hope of we can get a kill, but it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, and that was a quite irritating Q from Quinn. We're just 3 people trying to recall and getting interrupted like that. It's pretty annoying. See, I'm going for the Sonya's with the Seeker's arm guard there, and for the Abyssal with the Negatron cloak. Always early game go for tanking items. You can never go for directly for the Crystal Scepter and Leander's Torment or Rabadon's Death Cap for that matter. I'm only getting these items because they have defensive stats and AP on them. Because I can just as well get defensive stats as I can get AP. Rabadon's Death Cap is just so much gold for nothing defensive at all. Leander's Torment and Crystal Scepter and Sonya's Hourglass and Sunfire Cape all have a bit of damage and survivability on them, so that's mainly why I buy them. As you can see, Riven is she's just backing off whenever I'm there because she knows that I can easily kill her. But as you can see, the Tristana can also easily kill the Mastery. But I can also kill the Tristana. Just a heads up, this is not a Diamond 1 game. This is just against some gold people. Which I excuse for, but I don't feel like I'm quite skilled enough with Rammus top for doing it in Diamond 1 skill level. I'm mostly a mid laner like Vaizo, Twisted Fate. And I don't top lane that much, but I have played Rammus top quite a lot in normals, which doesn't exclude it from ranked games. This is a really strong pick actually. I just don't feel confident picking it in Diamond 1 games. However, I would recommend playing it quite a few times in normal games before you get the hang of it. Also, it's never a good idea to pick this before you know what you're against. That's a really stupid idea. Because I can guarantee you, if you face an Elise or Rumble or Teemo or Jace or anything like that, you will most likely lose. If you don't get any help from the jungler or you have the armor rune page that I suggested. Yeah, getting getting to be against people who deal magic damage when you have a full armor rune page is just really shitty. As you can see, we are pretty much destroying them, and now we're just trying to get the inhib. And there's not much they can do about it. But since my team backed off, I backed off as well, since I don't have that much magic resist to face a full Tristana burst. So there's no real reason for me to sacrifice myself for that inhib. There I just noticed I didn't have quite enough gold for the Abyssal Scepter, and the Haunting guys, so I just didn't back off anyways. Right now I'm just farming for those items. I just use my ultimate since it has such a low cooldown. And I needed to back off anyways. It's most likely going to be up by the mount by the next time we are team fighting. I just wanted the full magic penetration here, so my ultimate could deal the full amount of damage. Also your W, whenever you get hit you almost return about, I don't know, 100 damage, which is quite a lot when getting basic attacked for under 100 damage. I don't know, people might suggest why I don't use Thornmail in my build. I just think it's so much for buying an item that costs 2200 gold and get an 100 armor that gives almost no damage reduction when you have this much armor. And here you see they surrendered. There's not much they could do. Yeah, thanks for watching this commentated version of my Rammus top video. I hope you liked it. It was my first commentary ever, and I will try to improve from the comment section below. If you have any suggestions, just leave them there. Yeah, like and favorite if you did like it, and subscribe if you want to. It helps me out a lot. Thanks. Peace.